Welcome back to the program, friend. It is I, your servant, Randall, investigating the connection between Mohammed and the anti-Semitism of today's Islamic militants. Let's go to some of the history of Ibn Ishaq and others. I mentioned in one of the earlier shows the murder of Cobb, the Jew who was actually a Jewish leader who wrote insulting poetry. I spoke about it in prior shows. Well, it's referred to in the Hadith. His murder is referred to in the Hadith as, and I quote, chapter 41, the murder of Cobb ben Ashraf, the evil genius of the Jews. That's the Muslim spirit that's captured in the Hadith about how they felt about Jews, the evil genius of the Jews. Another example is the murder of Kinana, chief of the Jews at Khaybar. Here is the account given to us by Ishaq. After the Jewish fort of Khaybar had been taken by Ali, Muhammad summoned Kinana, son of Al-Rabi, who was a treasurer of Khaybar. The apostle asked him where the treasure was kept, but Kinana denied any knowledge of its whereabouts. A Jew came to the apostle and said that he had seen Kinana going around a certain ruin every morning early. When the apostle said to Kinana, "Do you know that if we find you have it, I shall kill you?" He said, "Yes." The apostle gave orders that the ruin was to be excavated and some of the treasure was found. When he asked him about the rest, he refused to produce it. So the apostle gave orders to Al-Zubayr, son of Al-Awam, torture him until you extract what he has. So he kindled a fire with flint and steel on his chest until he was nearly dead. Then the apostle delivered him to Muhammad, son of Maslama, and he struck off his head. Let the full impact of that scene sink in on you. A man tortured. They literally tied him down and they set fire on his chest to get him to tell where the money was. Then they cut off his head. Muhammad then proceeded, as he did with the Jew Rainana, the beautiful Jewish woman that I spoke about a few shows ago. He proceeded to do basically what he did with her. He took Kinana's young wife, Safiya, and married her within 1 or 2 days of her husband's murder. One commentator said she was 19 years old. Another one said she was 17. Both of them say that she was stunningly beautiful. This young woman who had just seen her husband, Kinana, the chief of her tribe, and other relatives slain in cold blood, was taken into the tent of the 52-year-old Muhammad and was made his wife. Now, the conflict between the Jews of Khaybar and Muhammad ended in the following manner. Besides the loss of life as a result of the fighting, the surviving Jews lost what appeared to be virtually all of their chattel property and their recently harvested crops, and the Jews had to surrender their property and their homes and their farms to Muhammad, but Ishaq says their lives were spared. When we come back, we're going to talk about an event that followed the killing of Cobb and set up tomorrow's program, which will do with the connection between Islam, the sword, and evangelism. I'll be right back.